what's up, Kings? Let's talk about a man's early years, early young adult years, or pretty much young adult time frame, and what is the most advantageous route to take. Now, full disclosure, there are multiple routes to take, and in one way, shape, or form, I have discussed this or touched upon it in previous videos. I recently made a video answering the question, what advice would I give my younger self, therefore give to other individuals that are around that age that I now know to be applicable and helpful advice. So I think it's better to just answer it by saying what I think is the most advantageous route for young men to take. I would say between the ages of 18 and 25. So one thing you guys need to understand, and like I said, I this specific thing that I'm about to bring up, I have discussed in previous videos, that you need to understand, especially in today's day and age, in today's marketplace and how things are, is feminism has not made it better for men in the dating market. It's actually made it worse, because under a Christian patriarchy, there was more, especially I would say from like the 1700s to the 1900s, there was more of a chance for the average man to live a decent life, have a wife, have kids, and that was spread out more generally. Now, because of feminism, what has happened is women's natural urges and natural inclinations have been left unchecked. And so if they're not a Christian, or they don't listen to or live by Christian ideals, what you're left with is a woman who is left to her own tendencies. And the tendencies that I'm referring to is her hypergamous manner. And not only that, but you also have a strong pushing of propaganda surrounding, you deserve better, you deserve this, and this. You're here, and you deserve a guy who makes $2 million. And so a lot of modern women have an inflated sense of self-worth. And you see this across the board. For example, when you watch the Whatever podcast or Fresh and Fit, you'll commonly see Myron or Brian ask these girls, what do you bring to the table to demand this level of man? Okay. Now, it is also worth noting that women do have some variability in what is specifically important to them as far as attraction points and how that order goes. But pretty broadly speaking, women are looking for security and safety. Like I said, it's going to vary from woman to woman, which one is first, which one is second, which one is third as far as the attraction points go. But broadly speaking, I think it's safe to say that women are looking for safety and security, okay? But nonetheless, they nowadays believe that they are worthy or deserve. I think worthy is the incorrect word. They deserve, just because, a man that is here. And the question that will be asked, as I already said, is what do you bring to the table to demand this level or quality of man? Okay. And most of the time, these women answer something sexual that they do really, really well and better than all the girls. And this is probably another topic for a different day, but women are so misguided with that, as if, number one, other girls do not have the same exact skill set and opportunity. Sex is really not that complicated, guys. I mean, it's a pretty simple process. Yes, practice does improve your skill level, of course, but number one, you can even argue how important sex is in a relationship ultimately on a balance of importance. But secondly, it's a pretty straightforward process. And especially when it comes to a woman pleasing a man, it's far more broad and simple than it is the other way around. So it's not that big of a deal. But feminism has caused women to not only self-inflate themselves and add a false pretense of importance, but it also has made women express their natural tendencies in an unchecked manner. And so what you see is, you see hypergamy run amok, and you also see women whose main viewpoint of themselves is through a sexual lens. With this in mind, when it comes to men, I think, if getting married is something that is very important to you, which I would argue it should be important to all men. All men have a natural inclination to spread their seed, spread their genetics, and foster a family, okay? Or bring up and protect a family. So, assuming that that is the desire of the man, in my experience, the far more advantageous route to take is, especially between the ages of 18 to 25, is to focus on yourself, stay focused, stay driven, set goals for yourself that are obtainable, and really just utilize that time to devote all your energy and effort to achieving those ends. In other words, what I'm saying is that time should be utilized towards building yourself up as a man solely and specifically. I mean, it's that straightforward. I know guys who definitely have married women young, and that's fine. I'm not saying that it's wrong. In fact, I also believe that nowadays people marry far too late. But the bottom line is, between men and women, men are the sex that can wait a lot longer than women can. And the types of things that women are looking for take time to obtain and achieve. Whereas what men are looking for does not take time. In fact, it is given to women early on. That's why there's the old adage that women are born with their value, men must obtain their value. And like I said, I don't think that it's wrong for men to marry young, but we're speaking about what is the most advantageous. If you can find a woman who genuinely is okay with building up with you and growing with you, that's fine, because and that is, it is possible to find women like that. It's not as possible now as it used to be, as feminism and women's hypergamy, but women do choose a man for their future, and they either select a man that is ready-made, or they select a man who they see them growing into the man that they want. So if you can find a woman that can do that, and she meets a lot of the things that you're looking for, it's not wrong to go ahead and go down that route. To me, you should allow that to happen naturally while still focusing on yourself. And if a woman does come across your path that fits those characteristics, then by all means. But your number one priority as a man should be, between that age, is to build yourself up and achieve some of the goals that you are looking to achieve. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. In fact, our feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, kings. Christ is king. Peace. So what is up, kings? Today, I'm going to be answering a common question and thought that comes across my channel, which is, is there anything that if I could go back, which of course I cannot, what's done is done, that I would change or remind myself? In other words, what advice would I give to you guys now that I've gone through it, if you're still in that applicable age range? And for me, I want to qualify this by saying that I don't think it's ever too late to implement and change one's approach to life, one's strategy on how to go about things. But I will say, as I've gotten older, I have realized more and more just how accurate my elders were about how to be successful in life, how to do the right things and do well in life. You know, any issues that I had was purely out of stubbornness, stupidity, and a false pretense of individuality, and just really being, honestly, just a dickhead. You know, I think I was better than most in receiving information, and I get this from playing sports, but I did have I definitely had a mindset of rationalizing poor choices and things of that nature. And I definitely was not perfect. I've made my fair share of mistakes. If you guys even learned of half of them, you would be stunned to see where I am at now. I would say between the ages of 20 and 25, well, really 18 and 25, there were some things that I did that were really great and positive, but things that were really bad and really poor. So, but it's, as I said, it's never too late to start to implement some of these changes. And everything that my father told me, everything that my grandparents told me, all were accurate. You know, for example, like doing drugs or smoking weed and things like that, and having this mindset of, because when you're young, you have a fear of missing out. And again, I don't think I was as bad as most, but I still was not where I needed to be as successful as I could be. And I ended up oftentimes, instead of doing the work always, I would still do the work, but not as frequently as I needed to. And there were definitely some natural gifts that God bestowed on me to be where I was in life and to achieve certain things in life. But I would always try to gain some of the positives, the popularity, the hanging out with girls or you know, going to parties and all the things that would come with having a certain success or whatever the case may be. I would always try and experience those things rather than saying to myself, okay, maybe it's not so bad to do this every once in a while, but it's certainly not something that can become habitual and something that's done all the time and things like that. You know, especially in high school, I definitely got to a point where, and I've said this in previous videos, where, you know, I would play sports, but I did not put the focus in school that I should have put. And every Friday or Saturday after games, the move was always to text whatever girls we could text and schedule hanging out with, and that would be a Friday and Saturday. And so what I'm saying is that while that's not necessarily bad in and of itself every now and again, I could have limited that and kept it to a premium as it should have been, rather than making it a consistent thing. But again, grandparents, parents were right about that. Because I remember my dad always telling me, it's good to have friends, but friends come and go. And I remember my dad would always tell me that, your friends will come and go. There will be relationships in a year that you will no longer have for whatever reason. And a lot of your friends, their friendship with you is circumstantial. And I did see this at times in high school and college, because I would have brief moments of clarity where I would decide to get my shit together and start focusing, and I would say no to going out to this function, or say no to going out to this function, or I would say no to hanging out with these people. And sooner or later, those calls stopped happening. And so my dad was absolutely correct about that. What is far more lasting and far more impactful is just to do the work and do what you know will benefit you and put you in a positive position for yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to be selfish all the time per se, and it is good to have friends and things like that. But you need to do an honest assessment, which I did not do, of, are these friends genuinely positive for me? Are these people genuinely positive for me and helping me grow as a person rather than staying stagnant, if not moving backwards? So that's one thing. I'm not sure exactly what to call that per se, but you do need to get rid of this fear of missing out, and you do need to become okay saying no. I don't have time for that. I don't want to go to that just for the sake of going and for the sake of bullshitting and being around people just for the off chance of hooking up with some girl. You need to put the work in. And so that's probably the biggest piece of advice that I would give is, as a man, you are going to be judged off of your fruits of your labor, of what you're able to produce in the world, the impact that you're able to make in the world. And it's impossible to have every single man across the board be as successful and impactful as every other man, because I do believe there is a hierarchy and order to things in this world. Some men are actually better suited to be followers, but people are crazy drivers. And so that's just the way it is. Sorry guys, I had to honk at somebody because they're being insane. So you need to be okay saying no. You need to be okay doing your own thing and being on your grind, being on your purpose, because you will be judged as a man for the fruits of your labor. And really it just comes down to, as a man, being honest with yourself and asking what your desire is for your future. And if any guy is being honest with themselves, they know that deep down inside they want to make money, they want to have respect and dare I say, adoration in some regards. They want to have a girlfriend. They want to have women be attracted to them. And the only way to get that is to put in the work. And so, if there's anything that I would remind my younger self, is to truly just be patient, because you want everything all at once. And I remember when I was like 22, 23, I did come across some content around this topic in and of itself. But when you're 22, 23, it's easier said than done to say, oh yeah, just be patient, just put in the work. And I totally realize that. I really do. But it is the correct answer, and it's the only answer. Is it will take time, be patient, invest in yourself, invest in your future, and just keep grinding. Because sooner or later, it will work itself out, and you will garner some positive results. The most impactful thing for me has easily been just putting one foot in front of the other. One thing usually leads to the next, and you end up just accumulating this positive momentum that's extremely beneficial. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. If facts are feelings, because your feelings don't matter. Love you, kings. See you guys next time. Christ is king. Peace.